Hey guys, what's going on? I'm back again with another Bloodborne how-to video for you today. So in this video we're going to be taking down the Witch of Hemwick, who you can find in Hemwick Corner Lane. Now, a better way of putting it would be the Witches of Hemwick, because there is actually two in the boss fight. Right, so in terms of preparation for this fight, you don't really need to do a great deal. The witches themselves aren't particularly resistant to any sort of damage or any element. They've got a slight resistance to bolt, but not enough to dissuade you from using the bolt weapon. Other than that, it's all fair game. Right, so in terms of armour you want to be wearing, most of the time it's just physical damage resistance. The witches are exactly the same as the hags that you find in the prison bit, the High Purging jail, and they do have the same grab attack, which, as you know, does a lot of physical damage. So any armour with high physical resistance is good. As well as that, they do have a arcane nova type explosion thing that they'll set off if you're close to them for too long. So any armour that has high arcane resistance as well. Now there isn't, as far as I know, there isn't a decent set that has both of these, so I'm kind of wearing a hodgepodge of like what's got half decent stats of both. So other than that, it doesn't matter. Right, so let's get into it. This fight can be an absolute nightmare, or it can be a cakewalk depending on how you tackle it. So I'm going to show you the easy way to do it. Now these stalkers here, these get summoned throughout the fight, and you can more or less just ignore them for the entirety of the fight. Later on, when there's a lot of them, it can be difficult to get around, but you just use the boards along the side here. Right, so as you can see, the Witch of Hemwick, 1 HP bar visible, but there is actually 2 witches. Now both of them are invisible unless you get close to them. There is a way of telling them apart though. Now what we want to do is, the witch that has the visible HP bar, once you kill her, the other one becomes active. And if you spend too long fighting the other one, then she'll resurrect the first one, and then you have to fight them both at once, which is where the fight becomes an absolute pain in the arse. Because what happens then is one of them will start firing missiles that just stun you, and then the other one will teleport to you and do the grab attack, which means you take a hell of a lot of damage really quickly. See, now, as you can see, they're not visible unless you're close to them. Now this one isn't attacking us, so if I attack her... Okay, I must have had the wrong one there. But anyway, generally speaking, the general consensus is the one that attacks you if you're too close to her is the one whose HP bar is visible. Although, as you can see, that doesn't seem to be the case. Regardless though, it doesn't matter. The point is what we're trying to do, our strategy to make it easy, is the one whose HP bar isn't visible, we're trying to damage her as much as possible before we kill the first one. That way when the first one goes down, the second one will only have a little bit of HP, and we can burst her down quickly before she resurrects the other one. So now, like I said before, the general consensus is there's 2 of them in the arena at any one time. Now if you stand in front of one when it becomes visible, if it attacks you, that's supposed to be the one whose HP bar is visible. But as evidenced in this video, that's not always the case. So what we're going to do is we're only going to attack once when we find one. Now if the HP bar goes down, we'll just leave it and look for the other one. And if we do come across one where the HP bar doesn't go down, then we're going to go up hell for leather on that one. Yeah, that's the visible one. So the fight only becomes difficult in the second phase, when they're both alive. So all we're doing here is... I made a mistake there, and I attacked the one there. Yeah, that's the arcane explosion I was talking about that I walked right into. But as you can see, there's not a lot to this fight as such. So I mean, it might even be the case that we don't actually get the second witch down to a reasonable amount of killer in one go, but all we're doing is we're delaying the phase change. So even if we do simply as much damage as possible to the one who isn't, whose HP bar isn't visible, then we're still on for a good one. Although so far I am doing a terrible job of it. I think so far I've only managed to hit the one who has a visible HP bar. There we go, see, the HP bar isn't moving yet, we're getting good damage in. So that's what we're going for. Took a few tries, but the game's finally decided not to prove me a liar. So as there's only one stalker up at the minute, that's because it's only phase 1. But later on, once you've damaged the witches enough, they do start spawning more of them. Yep, that's the one whose HP bar isn't visible, although we only got one hit in that time. But as you can see, the strategy is really simple. We're just prolonging it as much as possible in this first phase to make the second phase as easy as possible. So we must have damaged one of them enough now because there's a second stalker spawned. But as you can see, the first one it's only came close to attacking us once or twice. I'm going to assume there's one over here. That's the visible one, so we'll leave that one alone. There's one up here. Yeah, that's the one we want to be attacking. Now, these stalkers don't move very fast and it is easy enough to get out the way of them. But they do, if you do get caught, it can be quite nasty. Because they do have like a 5 or 6 hit combo, it goes on forever. But as you can see, this fight so far is an absolute cakewalk. That's the thing, if you just straight up attack the first witch until she's dead, and then do the same with the second one, when the second one's at about 50% HP, it'll res the other one, and that's when it gets tough. So this isn't necessarily how the fight was meant to be done, but this is the easy way of doing it. And we've killed one there, and the second one's at about 40% HP. There we go, there's the missiles I was talking about, but there's only one up at the minute. So now we're going to try and just burst her down as quickly as possible. Now if I can find her again, see, I've been hit there. And you can still get hit while you're caught by that paralysing. So what we need to do now is be quick, because if we wait too long, it'll still resurrect the second one. So I'm having trouble finding it. Oh, and there's the other one resurrected. Brilliant. So I guess we are doing it the hard way. Hopefully we can kill this one here. Yes, there's one down. So not too difficult then. There it is. And we're up here. And this should be game. Assume I don't fuck it up, which I have. So that's the thing, I wouldn't even say this fight's been difficult, and I haven't done it optimally myself. And there we go. I think I only got hit 2 or 3 times. But that's the basic strategy, guys. The one whose HP bar isn't visible, that's the one you want to try and do as much damage to as possible. I mean, I killed it, which was a mistake, but you've got to try and guess when it's low, then finish the first one off, then finish the second one quickly. That's the optimal thing. But as you're saying, sometimes it doesn't go like that, but it's still a pretty easy boss fight if you follow this strategy. It's only difficult if you've got to deal with both of them at a decent amount of HP. Anyway, I hope this video helps, guys, and I'll catch you next time on Bloodborne How To.